Please welcome Ziggy Marley. Nice to see you, sir.
Nice.
How are you?
Good.
Welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
Revolutions all over the world right now.
Yeah.
It's a really important time to be an artist, isn't it?
Yeah, true. If you have an artist that is singing about things that is relevant to the world, what's happening in the world today, and it's really important.
Is that for you? When you start to hear that, do you feel that fire burning inside you, where you say, I need to talk about this. I want to make a record?
Yeah, I think the way we understand music is that it plays a role in society that goes beyond entertaining. You know, it plays a role to bring consciousness, bring awareness to things, and that's what we do.
Where did you first get connected to that? I mean, obviously your father did what he did, but was it other artists, other people in your community that would tell you that?
No, well, I think it's something that I realized growing up, you know, watching my father and being influenced by like Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder and music of the time that spoke something that was important, like the 60s and the 70s type of music. I think I'm more influenced by that than anything else, so that's where that comes from.
When was the first time you heard one of those songs? Like the first time you heard Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? From a child, really, because we grew up with a lot of music in the house, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of albums, Jackson 5 and Stevie Wonder, Glenn Campbell, a lot of different type of music. So it was from I was like probably 8, 9, 10.
You know, so much of who we are as people is stuff that we just learn from our parents, but I think it's not just individually. It's like, your dad's Bob Marley, but no matter what he said to you, you watched actions more than anything. What did your dad's relationship with your mother teach you about love, or teach you about how love doesn't work? What did you learn watching them?
Between my mother and my father, they came up together poor, you know, and went through a lot of tough times, and then, you know, fame started happening, and my father had, you know, extra relationships, but the love never, that real love that you have because you went through so much, it never died. You know, my father got shot, my mother got shot in her head, and she still turned up beside him. I mean, they both had bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's that love that is no matter what goes on, that real love can never die, and I think that's what I learned from them, is that there's this real love that no matter what happens, the superficial stuff doesn't matter if you have that real love.
It means if you're ever in love with somebody and something happens, they better be there beside you. She's like, my mom had a bullet in her.
Yeah, I'm very like, you know, I'm very strict, I'm very demanding of my wife in terms of, yeah, you know, my mother, she got shot and she was there, so, you know.
But that was a freak accident. There's no way that anybody can be that way. Are you unrealistically demanding? No, I mean, I give and take, but, you know, there is, I mean, I do demand love. When you walk in and make a record, I'm always excited when you have a record, you and Damien have records that have just been able to do things that a lot of people didn't think were possible, because there's a lot of pressure to be the son of anybody famous. You know, the famous accountant wants to be like his dad or whatever,
yeah.
But when you walk into a studio, you recognize that Marley is a powerful name around the world. Is there pressure? Is that kind of a shadow trailing behind you wish didn't?
No, it's something that I embrace. I love my father, I love my mother, and one thing I always try to explain to people is that, you know, 'cause everybody talk about my father all the time. I remind people I have a mother too.
Yeah.
Just like it took both of them to kind of create me. So it's not like, you know, I just came from my dad, you know what I'm saying?
Because then Bob Marley would be really powerful if he just said, give me Ziggy. You know?
So I kind of remind people it's a balance, and my parents set a good example. And humility has a lot to do with it. I am not egotistical, so I don't have this urge to, you know, try and get rid of my father because I want it to be about me. It's not about me. Mm-hmm. It's about the message. It's about the music. That is what it is about. So I don't have no problem with my father being around me and his spirit and whatever he has done, because I love him. He's my most influential artist, even beyond being my father. As a musician, I love him. I love his music. I love his message. I love his songwriting. So it goes beyond just him being my father. As an artist, I really love him.
Did you play your music for your mom? Did you, when you were first starting, did she listen to your stuff?
Yeah, man, she listened to it.
What'd you think?
She never really think much. The most important thing to them, yeah, The most important thing to mommy and stuff was school, you know. The music thing was like, whatever, get a good education, you know, that's the most important thing.
That's amazing. We love hearing you talk about your father and hearing Bob Marley, but talk to me about Peter Tosh, because Peter Tosh was what a star.
Yeah, Peter was a very interesting person, you know, as growing up, he came around us all the time, you know. He used to ride his unicycle and the karate and things, but out of the three of them, out of Bob, Peter, and Bunny, Peter was the most militant, revolutionary, the tough, like, I mean, he would get into fights with the police on a regular basis in Jamaica, you know, and he would smoke. He does smoke anywhere, anytime, you know, it never mattered to him. So he was a real revolutionary, but he took it to the edge, you know, very, very strong, very militant.
On this record, it opens with a track with you. I mean, obviously the Marley name, but you know, famous for blazing, and so you even have a comic which is Marijuana Man. Yeah. What could be even funnier is when you put the record on, the very first song features Woody Harrelson, the other most famous weed smoker. You know, were you guys just one night getting lit and someone said, let's make a song?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Woody's a good friend, you know, he's a family friend. And we share ideas, you know. We always, whenever we're in that conscious zone, you know, with so much philosophy, so much, you know. So I was working on a song and he came over and I was like, come with him, man, you got to sing. Yeah. And he started writing some stuff and we just did it together like that, you know.
That's got to be fun.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about Marijuana Man, Ziggy Marley's Marijuana Man, which is basically, it's your graphic novel.
This came from me wanting to, you know, put the idea of marijuana and cannabis in general in a different view, in a different light, not a villain. This plant is not a villain. It's not an evil plant. Yeah. This plant is actually a hero. I use the metaphor of this plant like in one of my father's songs. It's a stone that the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone. This is what this plant is. This plant will become again, what it was way back when it was grown and used, you know, for paper, for clothing, for all type of things. And in what we call now this green revolution, the hypocrisy of not utilizing this natural resource is detrimental to the planet and the people here.
Do you think the existence of medical marijuana, and has that changed maybe some of the cultural acceptance of marijuana, do you think it's changed at all?
Yeah, I think people, I mean, listen, where I come from, and a lot of cultures, some people might call it backward thing, but we use a lot of plants. Like, all right, I had knee surgery. I had a soccer injury, I tore some ACL. And the doctor gave me, you know, the usual, it was Percocet first, and then I told him, listen, this thing is making me sick. Yeah. Then it was Vicodin. And I was like, listen, this thing ain't working. And then I tried herb. I actually tried marijuana for the first time in a medicinal sense. For actual medicinal purpose. Yeah, yeah. And it actually worked better than the Percocet and the Vicodin for me, personally.
Yeah, that stuff's bad for you.
So, I mean, it definitely legit. Yeah. You know, it's legit, you know?
I hear lots of people in the different legalize it camp, but I wonder, do you have an age restriction? Because there are a lot of studies that say if you smoke marijuana as a young teen, 16, it's like 4 times more likely to trigger, you know, some kind of mental illness.
Oh, yeah, man, of course. Yeah, you have to be very careful with everything I mean, everything has to be done wisely. It's not like a free fall. Here, everybody, no. Everything must be done wisely. And you know, when I was younger, my parents never does hear Ziggy. My father was a smoke weed, Ziggy smoke. No. I mean, education, and then when you get older, you can make up your own decision, but it's not for everybody. Not everything is for everybody.
Have you been following it all, this Occupy Wall Street? Have you seen these gatherings?
Yeah,
what do you think of that?
I mean, it's always good when people stand up. I mean, it took too long, I think, for people to really wake up and stand up for something that they believe in and let their voices be heard. So I think it's appropriate, yeah.
The record, Wild and Free, and of course the comic book we talked about, Ziggy Marley's Marijuana Man. Nice to see you.
Yeah, man, thanks, brother. All right.
Ziggy Marley.